I didn't necessarily expect to be saying it. Max Shaman won a game.
Yeah, it's been winning more than a few here lately.
Certainly has. We're going to find out if maybe Greensheep could win game 4 with it. I don't know what he's going to be playing, but he's got to do something because SjoW is on match point for the next 2 straight. Greensheep wants to take down this Titan. He's going to need to win 2 straight himself.
You know, we just talked about how SjoW wasn't playing control decks all season long, and he cues that up, and it looks like he's doing it again here.
Yep, Greensheep, he's bringing Grim Patron, though, and this has been a deck that I think he looks fantastic with. And in this matchup, I actually feel like this Deathlord could be a major liability.
Okay, nothing against Greensheep, but do you think he looks fantastic with it, or does the deck make you look fantastic? A little bit of both?
Well, yes and no. I mean, obviously the deck is very powerful, and so when you win with a very powerful deck, oftentimes it's very forgiving. But I think Greensheep is allocating his resources properly and really understanding what he has to do to win the games, and that's the big talking point for me. He's not just plowing cards out to the board and hoping they work very well. He's taking his time, he's understanding it. Look, he's even armoring up like Tannen has ranted about doing so.
I was going to say, if you skip armoring up on 2, I'm going to hammer you. But no, I 100% agree with you. Greensheep's been playing amazing with this deck.
Now, Tannen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me ask you a question. Do you think you take care of this Acolyte of Pain?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Continue.
All right. Let me ask you a question. I heard that.
Second Acolyte of Pain gets picked up, though. But not really an effective way to use these. I mean, is this, like, and you can even tell, I feel like this isn't a matchup where he wants to be playing Deathlord at all. I think he understands the cost of this card. It may just be dead in his hand. Like, imagine playing that into a Grim Patron.
The thing is I think he's going to choose very wisely when he has his Deathlord in play. Because if you can ever get a certain minion out of Greensheep's deck, you know, if you could pick off a Frothing Berserker or a Grim Patron, that's big for him. But the problem is, if he does it too early or at the wrong time, like, let's say Emperor Thorson comes out of Greensheep's deck, that is a disaster.
What minion do you want to come out of the deck?
Well, I mean, if you have a Fiery War Axe out, you want a Grim Patron to come out, and then you just kill it. If you can ever get it to happen on your own turn.
Speaking of Emperor Thorson.
Well, you know, this turn was going to be pretty rough. I mean, I guess he's just going to execute here and try to get ahead. I'm not sure I love this play. But it depends on if he gets a Grim Patron or not. Yeah, no, that one's not so good.
That's the benefit of this card now, is when your opponent does get something like this instead, makes almost no difference in the game.
Yeah, it makes no difference in the game, but I was just saying, if SjoW can ever have it to where, like, he gets to attack in with a Deathlord and make something come out of Greensheep's deck at the right time, he can actually get a big advantage out of that. You know, if you get to pick off a Frothing Berserker or a Grim Patron on your own terms, you know, during your turn, that is so huge.
Pros and cons of that card. That's actually, I feel like Deathlord is one of the hardest cards in the game to actually use properly.
Yeah, before I started playing a ton of Constructed, I hated the card because I think it's just trash in Arena. It's like really hard to play against people who always have 6 and 7 and 8 drops in their deck. But in Constructed, I mean, have you seen that card against the Paladin deck? We know we saw it here tonight. If you've seen it against these Hunter decks, it's amazing what it does. I mean, every now and then it gets a Savannah Highmane out, but...
Yeah, look at the bright side. Speaking of bright sides, there's Deathbite.
Yeah, something we said about cards like that, for every game that it loses you, it probably wins you more.
Which is that takes practice and time. I mean, there's no way to know that without actually playing the game. And so, you know, the way that you do that is you play the game. SjoW has clearly been doing that. You mentioned he's been streaming it for multiple days in a row now.
Yeah, I think he had something like a 14-2 record with it, or 13-2 record with it.
He's not just playing Deathlord because he feels like playing Deathlord.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have it in the original version. Like, when he first started streaming the Control Warrior deck, he hadn't put Deathlord in it yet. And SjoW's the kind of guy, like, on stream, when he's making decks, he starts making changes as he goes, and you get to actually watch, you know, the process happen. It's very fun to watch.
So what process is going to happen this turn? I imagine it's going to be Shield Slam his own Sylvanas and take care of this Emperor Thorson. And when I say take care of it, I don't mean remove it from the board. I mean it becomes his, and now he takes care of it.
Yeah, that's mine now.
Yeah,
this belongs to me.
Mine?
Mine. All right. A little Finding Nemo reference.
Mine.
Like it. Like it.
Whoa. Maybe
he just wants to take care of it with the Deathbite here and keep the Sylvanas on the board. I gotta believe it's hard to find a better spot for your Sylvanas here.
I think he's just trying to take care of his own Armor Smith.
Yeah.
So that way Grim Patrons don't become a big effect.
Yeah,
I think that's the big difference.
That's something he could do here as well, is make sure his Armor Smith is actually just dead.
Somehow he's just got the read, though. He goes, you know what? Greensheep just doesn't have Grim Patrons. I'm feeling it.
Yeah. I mean, even if Greensheep does have Grim Patrons, it's not like he's dead.
Yeah.
SjoW is here.
Yeah, he just gets one extra patron off of it.
Yeah. And
so maybe he wants to encourage it. You know, he's got 2 5-drops on the board. I'm sorry, he's got 2 5/5s on the board. Yeah. He's got the Baron Geddon in his hand afterwards.
How often is it that you see an Emperor trigger happen for the Grim Patron deck and they have 10 cards in their hand and they need to draw more?
It's pretty darn rare, but
and we're just going to be cycling.
Yep.
I love this from Greensheep here because, you know what, 1 card is enough when you have this many. He's looking for something very specific here, which he hasn't found.
Yep, it's going to be Armor Smith, and...
There's so much armor in this matchup.
Not going to play the Unstable Ghoul, though. Just wants to get the attacks from SjoW extend his life as long as he can.
And Greensheep is going to have to let this Emperor Thorson go off again here.
I don't know. Greensheep's reaction to me, it almost feels like he played that turn so fast. You know, this almost feels like a give up to me with the way that he played it.
You know, we're going to see from SjoW here, yeah, Greensheep is going to gain a lot of life from this play. If he does this, SjoW doesn't mind. He gets one card here to Greensheep, maybe one card, depending on how he attacks. Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't matter how much life total Greensheep has. When he wins, he just wins the game.
Yep.
Like, SjoW is just going to have a giant grip on this game.
Debating the Acolyte of Pain, but is it a liability right now? You know, Greensheep has drawn a lot of cards this game.
Yeah, it does put a liability of, you know, the gigantic Grim Patron turns.
So he's going to take out the last Armor Smith and pick up some extra cards in the meantime.
Pick up some extra life total here as well. I mean, look at this. We're at the 45 range, 43 to be exact.
Yeah, well now it's the 45 range.
Well, yeah, I was waiting for the armor to actually happen. I was making sure he didn't just want to, you know, randomly pop out a bear.
Well, if he foregoes the armor up here, he's closer to Battle Rage.
Yeah, way closer to Battle Rage.
Greensheep still needs to draw cards.
I feel like the bottom two cards of his deck are Grim Patrons.
Oh, don't put that juju on him.
Yeah. And I think he just felt the game slip away with this turn. You know, he can still slam and try to draw
no Warsong Commander, no Grim Patron so far. Only one Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, I mean, his draw has been abysmal this game. You have to believe one of them is going to happen here. No, it's just going to be Death's Cheese.
That's not a bad draw, though. Like, I think that draw is actually pretty darn good for his setup. Like, you know, if he picks up a Warsong Commander, the Frothing Berserker looks like lethal.
Well, it depends. See, the thing is, he has to alleviate some of the pressure on him from SjoW here, which means he has to take care of some of his board. Now, the more of this board that he takes care of, the smaller these Frothing Berserkers are going to be. And SjoW's at 46 right now and just going to keep climbing.
Yeah. That's the one thing that's happening to Greensheep, is he is running out of time.
And SjoW's got to, you know, you got to believe SjoW's going to push for damage here, but it's going to take care of his Emperor and his Armor Smith this turn. But he can add a ton to the board here. He can even use Sarah this turn if he wants. That's a card that's very hard for Greensheep to deal with. Do you just clear here, or do you get in 5? I think you just use the Fiery Rex for free.
I mean, it costs 0.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I was like, man, I really want to armor up this turn. I was like, oh, it costs 0 right now.
Yeah, no, he has Heritage in his hand still, too. So if Greensheep does develop this Death Spite ever, he's never going to get the Whirlwind effect out of it.
That's the downside of everything, is that SjoW has had all the answers right now. And Greensheep, again, his draw has just been abysmal. I mean, look, he's got 6 cards left in his deck. The bottom 6 cards or 7 cards of his deck contain 2 Grim Patrons, 2 Warsong Commanders, and a Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all of his combo at the bottom of his deck here. If any deck can keep up with it, though, it is this deck.
Yep.
But, as we said, this 412, that's going to be a problem.
Yep. And just because of the way that his draw has panned out, Greensheep...
And Ysera dreams and the world trembles.
Yep. Well, there's step 1. But again, this is going to be on SjoW's terms right here. Greensheep just needs a little bit more time, and I don't know if he's going to get it. It's Lando Calrissian. Needs more time. We got to give him more time.
I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'm not sure I got that one.
Come on, that's like one of the most famous scenes in the movie.
I'm drawing a blank. Which one is that one?
Oh, jeez. The Millennium Falcon, they're attacking the Death Star.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember now. All right.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. And Greensheep, he's like thinking about it right now too. He's like, the bottom of my deck really is all of these cards right now. And for the man who has everything.
Here's a Dr. Boom.
But how much pressure does he need on the board right now? Like, does he need additional stuff?
Well, what does Sludge Belcher accomplish? It provides, you know, a little bit of safety net, because we've already seen some of the executes. You know, there's not a lot of ways for him to get through. Plus, there's all the extra animations. But every minion that he puts on board is so much bigger for these Frothing Berserkers as well.
That's the big problem here. He's weighing, you know, how much damage do I need to deal? How much damage do I need to conserve?
Yeah, does he need to play an Emerald Dragon? Does he need to play a Sludge Belcher?
I honestly can see possibilities of the Baron getting too. Like, purposefully sweep out your 5-power minion, purposefully set your Harrison Jones lower to try to get more damage done. And so this is this is the final hurrah for Greensheep. If it doesn't happen this turn, it's just not going to happen. His draw has not given him the privilege.
SjoW also picked up a Ysera Awakens, so he's going to be able to clear whatever happens here.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to try to count it. If this is lethal, this is lethal. If it's not, it's not.
Well, there's 2 Whirlwinds here and an Unstable, so there's 3 Whirlwinds.
Ton of minions out right now. I mean, this could be lethal.
Well, the thing for SjoW here is the Shield Main dies on the first one of these triggers.
SjoW looks a little bit nervous. You can kind of see him squinting. He's like, really?
Yeah, is this...
Really?
I think he 2 Frothing Berserkers, he gets it done here. I don't think one's going to be able to do it. But wait, maybe the Grim Patrons will be enough. Yeah, I think he Whirlwind... Alright, that tells me that it's probably not enough if he's doing that.
I don't know. This looks like a ton. This looks like enough to me. He's got to hurry up, though. I mean, he started this turn instantaneously, and look at the timer. Yeah, Greensheep, I don't know if he's not going to be able to get in some of these attacks.
Oh, he's got this queued up already, I have to believe. I think it's going to be short.
12.
How many of these Grim Patrons can still attack?
I don't think he's got in the last one.
Yeah, the last one probably isn't going to get in. You see him shaking his head. He might be just short. That's a 31 power Frothing Berserker. It's not going to be enough, it looks like.
Wow. Greensheep sets SjoW down to 4. SjoW cannot use Ysera Awakens right now.
He could armor up.
But does that accomplish your goal?
Okay, he could armor up here.
You know what's funny is that one attack from the Grim Patron that was missed because of animations here feels to me like the difference in winning and losing this game.
All right, well, if he brawls here and the 3/3 Grim Patron lives, he has to have one of the damaged minions live so he can execute it here. And then he should be able to win this game from this point. So we need the 3/3 one to come out. Oh, there it is, the last one to come out of the brawl. The 31 power minion lives. You see Greensheep kind of sit up, but it's not going to be enough here.
The Deathlord actually going to shut off this too.
Yep, he's going to go to 6 here with the armor
Mortal
up.
Strike would be lethal.
Mortal Strike would actually be lethal. You're right. But Greensheep's just not going to have enough. He can't recover from this.
Yeah, has to armor up and just sit back and bide his time.
Yep, and you got to believe this Sludge Belcher's going to hit the board too as well, just to like lock things up. Or hold on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's got 10. He doesn't have 12. I mean 14. So.
Wait, does he have it? Okay, yeah, I see. You counted the Baron Geddon. Yep, just lock up the board. Wait a minute. When Ysera Awakens there, 5
with the boom bots and like
the
doing
boom
some
bots,
attacking, yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8. He would need 4 damage off the boom bots. Greensheep lamenting the order of his deck build right now. I mean, this has been brutal. I mean,
this is his season kind of in a nutshell too.
Yeah.
You've seen him in so many spots where he's like just needs to draw one thing or have it happen a turn sooner. It just hasn't happened. I mean, we've seen games where he's been the aggro deck and he's got his opponent down to 3 with like 7 outs in his deck and 16 cards he's missed for 3 turns.
I think with more time, Greensheep actually had that game won. Like, I think he just needed a little bit more time to run through the animations.
By the way,
he could have multiplied the Grim Patrons again and gotten more value on the Frothing Berserker by just running them all in the Ysera.
Yeah. By the way, this is Greensheep's last match of the season. This is a hard way to go out.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, that's honestly one of the toughest games I think to watch and I've seen in a long time, just because of the way the draws panned out. The bottom of his deck was so stacked. If he had that in the mid game, you completely blew SjoW out of the water.